Hi there, my name is Eli, and welcome back to my channel, Elijah. And for today's video, I wanted to feature and spotlight the new Venus McFlytrap doll from Generation 3 of Monster High. I mean, this doll has been everywhere. I would say of all of the G3 releases, she has had the most universal praise and acclaim for her. Everyone loves her. I've seen very, very little negative feedback for her, which is justified and well deserved because this doll is stunning and gorgeous. I love her so much. And yeah, I wanted to spotlight her and feature her on my channel, but just do something a little different. So today we are going to be painting and customizing all of her accessories. So I'll show you later what we're going to customize. But yeah, I like to do that with my dolls every now and then. It's not something I do all the time. I think the last time I did it was for my Iridescent dolls. So it's been a couple months and I wanted to dabble back into it. So let's get started. Okay, so I removed all of Venus's accessories so I could kind of see what I was working with here, what I wanted to customize, what was inspiring me. I did end up customizing every accessory except the backpack. I don't know, Venus's backpack just isn't my favorite and it didn't really inspire me. So, oh well. And then my Venus on her right eye, her yellow inner corner was just a little bit misprinted or smudged or something. So I was also taking note of that because that is something that I want to fix up just a little bit, which you will see later what I do. And here are some random like specialty accessories and supplies that I was using, some chains and some safety pins to just show up Venus's appearance. And I got these chrome pens from Amazon. There are 3 different sizes, and I saw Zombie X Corn in one of his videos use these chrome pens, and they looked super fun. So I had to try it out because I swear in a promo picture for Venus at one point, her accessories were chrome. And that's not something that Mattel regularly does for Monster High. So I think everyone was low-key expecting the final, doll to not have chrome accessories, and lo and behold, she didn't. So I wanted to try to chrome them up with these liquid chrome felt tip pins. They were okay. I did not like that size of the nub, but then when I moved to this one, it was a little bit more fine point, and I much preferred this size. And yeah, I stuck the necklace onto a highlighter just so it was easy for me to paint it and prop it up because these are very, very small accessories and you have to get creative when you are customizing and use whatever you have around you to get the job done. Now, I did struggle a little bit because it was tough to see where the chrome was going because I'm painting a silvery, sparkly paint on top of a silvery gray plastic. So I did struggle a little bit, and I let these dry for 24 hours, and I did go back and touch them up afterwards if I saw some splotchy patches and things like that, because this project did end up taking me about 4 days to paint all of these accessories. Now, granted, that was maybe an hour or 2 across each of these 4 days. In my head, I thought I could get this done in 2 days. When you're trying to like plan out something and, you know, just create a timeline, you have an estimation in your head, and it took double the time, which is fine. I was just really into it and trying to make sure that each piece was, done to the best of my abilities. And so, yeah, now moving on to the belt. I'm going to paint those flowers later, but for now, I'm just avoiding the flowers so I can get full coverage on the belt. Okay, moving on to painting Venus's eye coffin. I love the design that they did for it, with the fly trap and the teeth on the front, and the base of the phone sort of has a similar concrete looking texture that Venus's boots have. So I wanted to mimic and match that to kind of bring those two elements together. So I'm just mixing some gray with some black to get the exact shade that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to start painting the eye coffin. I do avoid the vines and like the fly trap. I'm really only trying to paint the sections that are the base of the phone. But if you prefer, you could probably just paint over everything gray and then paint over the gray for the fly trap. But I just kind of like this better. It is a little bit more time consuming, but it's just the method that I personally prefer. And then I'm also going to try to mimic the texture that almost like Rochelle Goyle. So I'm trying to dry brush flick some black, dark gray paint on the phone so it has that sort of speckle. It was a little tough. I don't know if my paint was dry enough, but it worked in the end. So I'm happy with the way it looks. It looks very good. And like I said, it's very similar to how they do Rochelle Goyle. So I'm happy with it. I was going to flick the front of the phone, but then it would have covered the screen print. So I chose not to do that. But as you can see, there's the speckle. So I was trying to come up with a solution to fix the makeup error on Venus's right eye. That yellow eyeshadow was just a little splotchy and uneven. So I'm going to add glitter because I love glitter. And do I think this was necessary or even effective? I don't. I don't think the payoff was, I don't know, entirely what I was looking for. It's fine. And I'm just going in with some Mod Podge to use as the adhesive for the glitter. It's pretty simple, just trying to get it on the yellow portion. And then once the Mod Podge is all applied, I will take the glitter. This is just some craft glitter that I got probably off Amazon, maybe like in a 24 pack. I picked a yellow shade to match the makeup. And I'm just using another very flat brush to sort of help me get just the right amount of glitter that I need. And I'm going to lightly tap it over the Mod Podge. And I do a light, subtle press to make sure that it adheres. And I'm going to try my best to shuffle that glitter back into the container. Because, yeah, glitter just gets everywhere. And, I'd rather not have it all over my desk and my space that I'm working with. But like I said, I don't think this was the best solution for this makeup error, but I'm still happy with it. It's very subtle, and if I probably didn't tell you that I did this, you probably wouldn't have noticed. But I did do it, so might as well include it, right? So for Venus's sunglasses, I went in with this pearlizing medium to just kind of glaze over some of the really cool vine details that were on these glasses. I didn't want to do too much to them, but I thought this would add, I don't know, sort of kind of limited to justice vibes, very like 2000s girly, and I wanted that to sort of juxtapose Venus's very like punk edginess with some softer, delicate elements. And yeah, that's why I chose to just do a little frosted sparkle glitter moment. And I do like the way it turned out. It's not too in your face, but if you notice the detail, it has really nice payoff. Okay, and we are back to working on the eye coffin. Just for some context, so things don't get too confusing, I input these videos chronologically, and so I kind of switch between which accessories I'm working on because sometimes things need time to dry. So yeah, just wanted to add that. But yeah, for the vines and Venus flytrap, I am mixing and using about 4 different shades of green. I love green; it's so fun to paint and blend the colors together. So I had a lot of fun with this, and I do paint the teeth on this fly trap as well. I don't think I have any clips of it, but I wanted to add that because for these teeth, I painted them with like a tinge of yellow green, kind of like Venus's shoes. They're not just like a pure stark white. So yeah, they have like stylistic choices, but it does get confusing because then on Julian, like his teeth are pure white. They don't have that yellowy tinge. So I think it's just, creative freedom on what you choose to do. Because, for example, on this mold for this eye coffin for Venus, when it's front facing, there are some visible teeth, which are really nice. And for those teeth, I opted for like a stark white, like a pure white color, instead of giving it a yellowy tinge, which I like. I like the stark white. It kind of definitely communicates that these are teeth, right? So yeah, just some artistic choices there, but I wanted to mention that since they are a little inconsistent throughout the doll, I guess. Okay, moving on to Venus's hair clip. I love this hair clip, and I just had a minor issue in that you know, it stands out for me a little too much in Venus's hair, where like it's the only thing I see and then look at. And I just noticed that it's just this huge chunk of plastic. And while I do appreciate the little bit of pink paint they gave us for the 2 flowers, it definitely needed a little bit of an upgrade. So that's what I'm doing here. And my favorite part to paint were the actual 2 fly traps at the very top of it. Just because with no paint, they're just like this blob of nothingness, really. You can't really make out what it is. So yeah, once I add the paint detail to them, they look amazing. I love how they turned out. And I did paint the flowers with some 2 shades of pink, like a light pink and a hot pink, but I didn't film any of those segments, and that also goes for Venus's belt and the vines on Venus's shoes. I will paint all of those pink. I just didn't film any of it. So, yeah, just mentioning that, and yeah, sorry about that, I guess. And here I am moving on to Venus's vines that wrap around her shoes. These are kind of a very squishy, bouncy, rubbery plastic. And the flower part at the end actually has a little nub that you can kind of stick into Venus's shoes so they stay there. These, however, were elastic to the doll when you get her, just because, they're a little flimsy and loose. So, but I'm very behind because, as you see, I'm pouring glitter. I did not know what I wanted to do for these vines, if I wanted to paint them or what I wanted to do. I was very uncertain. But then I had 3 shades of green glitter and thought, let's just put glitter on them. That seems easy enough, right? And then I couldn't decide which color to use because they're all pretty different. One's kind of like, this one is kind of very like classic green, reminds me of Christmas kind of. Then the next shade is more of like an olive tone, and then the last shade is like a lime green. And honestly, the lime probably would have worked the best, but I I am just, indecisive. So I decided to do all 3, and I just kind of did little segments of all 3 shades of green, and I liked how it turned out. It's very me. It's very me. It's, it's over the top, a little tacky, but I still love it. And to adhere the glitter, I'm just taking some glossy Mod Podge and then lightly coating the vines, and then I pour the glitter over top the vines so it adheres to the Mod Podge, and I do it over this little bowl so, the glitter doesn't get everywhere, and it already kind of does get everywhere, but this does make the cleanup a tad bit easier, just a smidgen. But yeah, it's glitter. It's gonna get everywhere, and I've accepted that. And here I am just showing that I do kind of dust off the glitter in between because it does even want to stick to the back of the vines, despite there being no Mod Podge on them. And it's glitter, it just sticks to things. So I wanted to add that because there is a little cleanup that happens in between these takes. And then I'm moving on to the last segment, which was probably the hardest to put the Mod Podge on because I'm trying to not hold the glitter vine so it comes off on my fingers. So I'm tightly, tightly gripping onto the little flower at the end of it. But yeah, this was very difficult. But once I got all the Mod Podge on, I could do the last color, which is the slime green. And I really like how this turned out. I like glitter. I know it's not everyone's go-to crafting material, but I really think the payoff is worth it. So this is how I apply glitter to accessories. I've done this on rainbow high shoes in the past. It's really pretty. And yeah, it's similar to how I flock things, just some Mod Podge and you're good to go. Okay, so now I'm actually going to apply this satin varnish. It's like a top coat, and I am watering it down as well slightly, just because I really wanted to seal the little finger hole on Venus's eye coffin. Just because when her finger is holding the phone, it can risk, rubbing against the paint and then it chipping or flaking off. And then I just decided, you know what? Let's just seal the entire eye coffin. I will be honest, I am very bad, and I normally don't always seal my accessories with a top coat. Like when I did my Feardescent series of videos and I painted their accessories, I was seldom sealing anything. I think I only sealed a part of Frankie's handbag because it draped around their wrist and that black paint was scraping off, so then I sealed that. But yeah, I really don't often do this, but it is actually nice. It just does add a lot of time because you have to paint over the whole thing again and let it dry, but it was definitely worth it if you're willing to go that extra mile. And I'm also sealing in this hair clip. Like I said, this probably could have been left unsealed, but it does help it last longer in the long run. So yeah, this step is kind of optional, but I liked it. I enjoyed it, and the seals worked really well. And then for the vines, I'm using a gloss varnish versus satin, just because I still want the glitter to have that nice sparkle. And the sparkle is not going to be the same as it was before I sealed it, just because it's glitter. It's going to look slightly different. I still think it looks nice. But yeah, I've sealed glitter in the past with just the glossy Mod Podge, but this seems to be maybe like a higher quality gloss varnish. So I wanted to test it out and I like it. It looks pretty good. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm glad I did this step. Now I'm going to add some paint detail to the zipper on Venus's boots, and I'm just going to use some silver paint from Folk Arts brand Treasure Gold. I love these metallic paints. I think they're really nice. They are a tad bit pricier than just like the typical, acrylic paint, but I think it's worth it. And I opted to use this paint versus those chrome paint pens that I got just because I think with the paint I'm able to get better control and make sure that, I'm not going outside of the lines on where I want the paint to be. So if you're willing to risk it with the chrome pens, that's on you, but I preferred the paint for this one. Yeah, so I am G3 Julian's number one fan. I love this pet. He's my favorite G3 pet. Like, I know a lot of people clown on his design, which is undeserved, by the way, because I swear I saw Annalise Lau, one of the G3 designers, on her Instagram post something alluding to Julian being like a symbiote creature of sorts. Like, imagine, Venom from Spider-Man, that kind of concept. And I just think it's so cool that that could be potentially one of like Venus's monster powers, that she can create little Venus flytrap symbiote pets or creatures or whatever that may be. And it's like, it's Julian the cat inside the flytrap, or is Julian the flytrap symbiote over, taking over the cat? I just think it's such a cool concept, and it allows for so much storytelling potential. And he is my favorite. I'm sorry, talk to the wall. And before I started painting him green, which I haven't even talked about the paint because I just am ranting about Julian, I painted his ears pink because I thought it would be cute, and he needed a little bit more to his color story. It was just green, So I like the pink ears, and I'm just taking tons of different green paint and painted it all over him. I don't paint inside his face because I didn't want to, but I painted everywhere but inside his face. And I even added little white teeth details to his flytrap tail, which I love. It's so nice. I just love him. I love him so much. I love that he goes inside and outside the pot. He's my favorite. He's so cool, and I'm okay if I'm, the only one that loves him. It's fine by me. Okay, I did paint the vines on the back of Venus's shoe, like the heel section, but I didn't film that part, which I don't know why. I just didn't. But I painted the bottom as well. And at first I was gonna paint these green, but then I was like, no, let's paint them brown to look like roots, because that's roots grow from the ground and that's where her feet are. And no one's ever gonna see this but me. But I was in love with the idea. And for this I did like a light brown, a dark brown, and then like a burgundy color to make the browns look a little bit more rich. So yeah, I love these as well. It's such a small but gorgeous detail. Okay, so I finished customizing all my accessories and I wanted to quickly show them off before I put them back on Venus, just because, when they're on the final result, there's so many things to look at all at once that I wanted to give them each their time to shine. So there was the boot without the vines covering it, and then there's the vine solo. I really like it. I love the glitter. I'm glad I opted to use it. It was definitely worth it. It adds a nice kind of pop and sparkle to this doll. Would Venus support this decision? No, because glitter is terrible for the environment. But this doll is literally made of plastic. Everything about dolls is pretty terrible for the environment. Sorry to break it to you, but I still love them. And yeah, that's just a moral quandary that we all have to deal with, I guess. And here is her eye coffin. Definitely, definitely looks way better with the paint detail. I like the stone base because it definitely links it to her boots and kind of creates this cohesion between her design, which I love. And then the little flytrap hair accessory, which I like that it's a darker green. It might be too dark now, which is fine. It was too light before. Now I think it's a tad too dark, but I still love it. And I'm just showing it off the back because I didn't paint the back just because I didn't think I needed to. And then Julian, my baby. I didn't paint the pot just because I didn't want to. But there he is. Love him. I even gave him little silver earrings because why the hell does a pet have earrings? I don't know. But he's serving. He looks great. I love him. There he is. Even painted the bottom of him. I don't know if I show that off, but yeah. my favorite, my baby, my everything. Love you, Julian. Okay, lastly, we have Venus's glasses. I like this mold. I really like them. I think they're very trendy and of the time. And the pearl, finish, it's nice. It's girly, it's cute. I like it. We have the belt with the chrome and the pink flowers. I don't think I'm like, head over heels for the chrome finish. Maybe I just wasn't great at it. I think the necklace looks the best. But yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to be thirsted to chrome up all of my doll accessories. I do think the factory chrome finish looks a lot better than this sort of DIY moment, but overall, I'm still happy with it. Okay, y'all. Well, that wraps up my Venus customization video. I hope you liked it. I had so much fun, and there's a lot to talk about because I did do some things off camera that I want to mention. There's me showing the roots off as well as I could. I did a little, video shoot outside because it's Venus. She needs to be surrounded in nature. But yeah, I love the outcome. I did add some safety pins and chains inside her hair and on her shorts just to kind of give her more of that punk edge, which I love about Venus. And I took one of those scrunchies from the Color and Create dolls and tried to dye it pink. It did not take very well, so it's a very, very, very light pink. But yeah, I stuck safety pins in that scrunchie and then, you know, put chains in it, and it looks really nice. And there's Julian, there's the phone, there it is all together. I love her. And yeah, I also poked my head on that tree bush thing behind Venus, and it hurt really bad. So just want to mention that, I got injured doing this video. This is a labor of love. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with her. She's my favorite. And I haven't done this to any of my other core dolls, which I might need to. But thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. I had so much fun. And who knows when I'll do this again. It's just whenever I get inspired. But yeah, that's all I have for you. My name's Eli, and that's my channel, Jack Elijah. I'll see you next time. Bye.